Hey students, you know that this week we're talking and reading all about shapes, shapes, shapes. So let's remind ourselves some of the shapes that we read about the other day. Do you remember this shape? So in this part of the story, the boy and his dad were riding their bikes in nature. And we found a shape right here in the wheel. Wheels go round and round. Wheels are circles. Do you remember this shape? In this part of the story, they talked about that this window that the boy is looking out has a lot of squares in it. Remember, a square has 4 straight sides and they're all the same length. The next shape, a rectangle, is kind of like a square. I also see 4 straight sides, but they are not the same length. Rectangle. And then they talked about a shape called a triangle. In this part of the story, they were talking about how the roof is the shape of a triangle. And because it was that shape, when the rain came down, the drops slid right off the side. Do you think that the raindrops would slide off as easily if the roof was flat? It's so interesting to think about the ways that shapes can help us. Now that we've reminded ourselves about some shapes, let's read an informational text about shapes. In this text, we're going to hear something called riddles. A riddle is usually a puzzling or tricky question that you try to solve by guessing. So let's try to solve some riddles. The title of this story is called Find the Shapes. And down here at the bottom, I see it has a question. It says, look around you. What shapes do you see? So let's take a close look at the picture. Do you see any shapes in this picture? I'm starting to see some. I'm looking closely and I can actually see this side of the block has a square. And I can also see a triangle over here. And the more I look, the more shapes start to pop out. Let's keep reading. And when we're starting to read, it's good to ask questions and try to answer them as we go. Ooh, on this page I see so many shapes. Let's read the words. Some objects have more than one shape. What shapes can you find in each object? All right, so let's just look at a couple. If I look up here, the plate is a circle. And then also, whatever these little cubes are that they have on the plate, I'm not quite sure, those I notice are squares. Ooh, and if I look really closely, I also see there's a bunch of little tiny squares on the placemat. That's also a square. So the more we look for shapes, the more we will see. Now, if I look down here, this is a pumpkin. On the page, the pumpkin is a circle. Now, here's where it gets tricky. In real life, when it's not flat anymore, it becomes a 3D shape. And it actually has a different name. In this case, the 3D shape name for a circle is sphere. But we'll talk more about that later. For now, we're just going to call them circles, squares, triangles, rectangles, all the 2D shape names. Because when it's on the page, It really is flat. In this pumpkin, I see the shape of a circle. I also see another shape making its eyes and nose. Do you remember what shape that is? It has 3 straight sides. That shape is a triangle. Say it with me, triangle. Now, the more we look, the more shapes we would see, but let's keep reading and see what's on the next page. Okay, so up at the top, let's read the words first. Many things may have the same shape, but they are different in other ways. Name the picture that solves the riddle. Okay, there's that word, riddle. Now we get to solve the puzzling question by guessing. So here I see the riddle. The question is, I have a square shape. I'm soft to the touch. What am I? So they're asking you the question, what am I? It says it has a square shape. Okay, that has a square. Does this have a square too? Yeah, it does, okay. And then the other thing it says is, I'm soft to touch. Which one of these two things, the pillow or the picture frame, would be soft to touch? Yeah, I think the pillow would be soft to touch. So they're both squares, but they're different. One is soft and one is hard. So even though things are the same shape, they can be different in other ways. Let's look at the next page. Ooh, haha, I know these things. It says, I have a circle shape. I bounce on the floor. What am I? Okay, so which one of these pictures shows something that is a circle, but also would be bounced on the floor? Now these are marbles. Marbles are hard. They don't really bounce. So I'm gonna say it's not marbles. And then this toy over here is a yo-yo. You don't bounce a yo-yo either. So it must be the basketball. Basketballs do bounce on the floor. Ooh, we're getting good at these riddles. All right, the next shape is rectangle. So it says, I have a rectangle shape. I am long and wide. I can give you a ride. What am I? Okay, so let's look at the pictures. Are they all rectangles? Let's see, okay, 4 straight sides. Not all the same length. Yeah. Long and wide. So long and wide. I'm still not sure. Let's read the last one. I can give you a ride. Oh, okay. So I know that wheels help us go places, so it must be the school bus that they're talking about. The door and the present would not give us a ride someplace. So the school bus, in this case, is a rectangle. So interesting. The more we learn about shapes, the more we'll start to notice them in real life. On this page, they're talking about triangles. It says, I have a triangle shape. The wind makes me move. I am made of cloth. Okay, so let's look at the pictures. Which one of these things fits all of those sentences? Does the sail have a triangle shape? Yeah. This instrument is called a triangle. Yeah, that's a triangle shape. And then this face of the pyramid is also a triangle. So let's read the other two sentences again. The wind makes me move. I am made of cloth. So cloth is another word for material or fabric. The only one of these pictures that is made of cloth and is moved by the wind is this one, the sail. All right, so sails can be the shape of triangles. Wow, so many shapes in real life. Now this is a big page, so we're gonna have to set it over here. Wow, there are a lot of shapes on this page. Let's try to move it nice and close so we can see. All right, it says, we see shapes at school. We see shapes in nature. We see shapes at home. What shapes do you see? So this would be a good time to pause the video if you want to and see how many shapes you can find.